All right.
Okay. Hi, you're watching Dante's Boxing Nation.
Dante's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? So we only about 3 weeks away. 3 weeks away from a real big fight between David Benavidez and David Morrell. The two boogeymen that were at 168 are now going to fight against each other at 175. And the winner of this fight is going to end up fighting the winner of Benavidez versus Bivol. Now, although David Morrell is clearly the more skilled fighter out of the two, a lot of people are expecting him to lose this fight because of his lack of experience, because he's never been on the big stage before, at least not like this. But Morell is aware that he's an underdog in this fight, and he responded to the fans that believe that he does not have the experience to beat a David Benavidez, and this is what he said.
I see this opportunity as a way for me to shut some people up. I want to be able to show the people that say that I'm not ready to be at this level that I can do it. I want to just prove them all wrong. And then also at the same time, I want to make my family proud. I want to make my country proud and be able to go out there and represent the way I know I can. It's simple, man. His only move is to attack. That's it. He's a strong guy, a big guy, but compared to my skills, he doesn't have anything. Do you ever see Benavidez with a defensive move or whatever? So he only attacks because he's the bigger guy for his opponents. I respect every fighter, but I would say that the thing I respect the most, not just from Benavidez, but from any fighter in any division, is the sheer fact of having the guts and the spirit to step into the ring and go hand to hand, face to face with an opponent that's at your level. So I'm going to respect that always from Benavidez and from any fighter in any division that is willing to face a challenge like that. Everybody is not easy, but I know this fight is going to be a knockout. It's really going to be a really, really tough fight.
End quote. This is definitely going to be a tough fight. And you know, the crazy thing is when you look at this on paper and you just look at the attributes, you look at the skills and the flaws, it seems like David Morrell, he would clearly be the favorite to win this fight. The reason why he's not is, once again, because he does not have the experience on this level. We already know David Benavidez. He's been in a ring with Demetrius Andrade and even Caleb Plant. And while he didn't look that good against Caleb Plant, he definitely looked good against Demetrius Andrade. He was very defensively sound in that fight, surprisingly. David really didn't get hit with anything in the Andrade fight, which shows me that David Benavidez, he really steps his game up when he's fighting against better competition. He's going to do the same thing against David Morrell, but David Morrell is a different kind of animal compared to Demetrius Andrade. First of all, David Morrell is the same size as David Benavidez. Andrade was moving up in weight, so he was a smaller guy in the Benavidez fight. When it comes to Morell and Benavidez, they both moved up to 175 at the same time. They're going to most likely be the same size. And we all know that David Benavidez, his main weapon is his size and his power. But as we've seen when he made his debut at 175, he no longer had that advantage. Alexander Gustafsson, who had already been knocked out before, he was walking through David Benavidez's punches as if he was fighting a smaller guy. And the crazy thing is, Benavidez, he wasn't just hitting Gustafsson at will. He was loading up on his punches. I mean, it was kind of like one of those slapping contests where Gustafsson would just stand there with his chin out and let David load up. And Gustafsson, he took it like it was nothing. Now, this is not to suggest that David is pillow-fisted at 175. I mean, they're still punching with 10-ounce gloves, And I do believe that somebody is going to get hurt in this fight. David Benavidez, he has been knocked down before as a pro. Morell has never been knocked down before. And not only that, but Morell, he ate some really, really good shots when he made his debut and fought Hot Rod Voje Kalajic. Overall, it was a good performance by Morell. And the main reason it was a good performance is because Hot Rod, he was performing very well, which forced Morell to step his game up. Hot Rod, he even managed to win some rounds in the fight. In fact, the fight, it kind of reminded me of Crawford versus Madrimov. Just like Madrimov didn't really let his hands go that much. He stood there for the most part just feigning a whole lot. But because of that, you never really knew when he was going to throw a punch. And when you're fighting someone that cautious, it's easy to get caught with something off guard. This is kind of what happened in the Morell fight. Morell, he basically had dominated the first 4 or first 5 rounds. And then out of nowhere, Hot Rod started picking it up, for maybe the next 3 rounds. But once Morell figured out what Hot Rod was doing, Morell, he adjusted and he completely took over the fight, hurting Hot Rod multiple times. I believe David Benavidez, he's going to surprise people and he's going to fight a very cautious fight against Morell. Matter of fact, Morell might end up being more aggressive than Benavidez in this fight. What I noticed with David Benavidez is whenever he fights a slick fighter, he's a lot more cautious. Even when he fought Anthony Durrell, he had more of a cautious approach. So my point is, this fight is not going to look like David Benavidez versus Caleb Plant. It's going to be a chess match. At some points, an aggressive chess match. The entire night, David Benavidez, he's going to come in with that high guard, trying his best to block every single incoming punch. And he's going to try to catch David Morell with the lead right hand all night because David Morell is a southpaw. Demetrius Andrade, he was talking about this fight, and he said the thing with David Benavidez is he has very long arms, which made it easier to block Andrade's punches. Pretty much like David Benavidez had a turtle shell defense, a winky right defense, if you will, with very long arms. This is what Andrade said.
Because he was a big, strong guy, he was able to absorb it. He weighed a lot heavier than me. After Benavidez fought Alexander Gvozdyk at 175, he said, I can still make 168 because he felt the weight difference. He couldn't do what he can do when he's not the weight bully. Now, he's in a good matchup against David Morell. It's 2 guys the same size. I think David Morell is talented. I don't know if he has the experience to actually beat David Benavidez. Morell is a big kid. He has decent speed, but he's a little wild with his punches. That comes with experience, of course. Benavidez has long arms. Morell is bigger than me. When you're throwing punches at Benavidez, his arms are so long that it's tough to hit him. You have to pinpoint your shots against him. I don't know if Morell has that in him. I'm a sharpshooter, and David was able, with his length, to block a lot of the shots from me. So, you've got to set him up with some clean walking trap shots.
It's funny that Andrade would say that because usually when we're talking about a slick boxer versus an aggressive, flat-footed, come-forward fighter, most fans would question if the aggressive fighter can penetrate the slick fighter's defense. But Andrade is wondering if Morell is going to be able to get through or get past David Benavidez's defense because of Benavidez's long arms and how he used those arms to block a lot of Andrade's punches. But Morell's arms are actually longer than Benavidez's arms. He has a 4-inch reach advantage over Benavidez. So, guys, the more I talk right now, and I'm talking about the more I talk in this video right now at this point, the more I'm starting to think this fight might go 12 rounds. And I say might, because contrary to popular belief, and when I say popular belief, I'm talking about race fans because the majority of boxing fans are actually race fans. Contrary to popular belief, David Benavidez does not want to get hit. He does not like to get hit. It was Sean Sattel that was trying to coerce David Benavidez into saying that he doesn't care about getting hit. He just likes to make the fights entertaining. When Sean Sattel said that, he was comparing David Benavidez to Shakur Stevenson. So this was basically a way of saying, these black fighters, they block punches, duck and slip and use angles not to get hit because they don't have the heart of a David Benavidez, because they don't like to get hit. But David Benavidez does. No fighter wants to get hit. And if you're a fighter that likes to get hit and you go in there to get hit just to entertain the fans, then I can guarantee you're going to be a journeyman in the sport because you're going to have a whole lot of losses and you're going to get knocked out a whole bunch of times. If David Benavidez was that type of fighter, he would not be where he is today. He would not still be undefeated. I can guarantee you that. And this is one of the reasons why David Benavidez, he said his favorite fighters are Gervonta Tank Davis and Devin Haney, before Devin Haney fought Ryan Garcia. So while old media is trying to force David Benavidez into pushing this propaganda, David Benavidez, he completely contradicts their narrative. So with that being said, before I made this video, I was almost sure that this fight was going to end in a knockout. And it could still very well end in a knockout, but I just believe David Benavidez, he's going to be way more defensive than we've ever seen him before. And because David Morrell already has a very good defense, of course, he's going to be defensively sound as well. But there's no doubt in my mind, because David Morrell is the same size as Benavidez and has a longer reach, he's going to definitely be more successful than Andrade was. With that being said, I'm going to wrap this video up for now. I'm going to talk more about this fight when we get closer to it. That's all I got for now, guys. I'm on to the next one.
Let me tell you guys about Issa Israel Law Firm. It is a full-service legal practice based in Denver, Colorado, an emerging hub for combat sports and high-altitude training. If you're a fighter inside or outside of the ring and you need a law firm you can trust to fight for you, visit thefighterfirm.com or email help@iilawfirm.com. Legal representation is usually limited to plaintiffs or defendants in Colorado, but iFirm can help anyone in the world with trademarking their business name, logos, and U.S. immigration issues. This brother has been my attorney for a while and helped guide me through all kinds of business and civil issues, so make sure you guys go to thefighterfirm.com. All right, now check this out, guys. If you're looking to repair eczema scars, burns and bruises, dark spots and blemishes,
Fever blisters, diabetic ulcers.
this right here is the perfect product for you guys. It's called Elo Key Face and Body Oil. Athletes and top-ranking boxers, they're also using it after training to reduce swelling, inflammation, and to ease the pain. So get yours today. Go to elodekey.com.
Like them on Facebook and follow them on Instagram.